We are here with three-time Yu-Gi-Oh champion Paulo Goncalves, here to rate some Magic the Gathering cards. I gotta ask you, how much Magic knowledge do you know? How much have you played before, or give me the scoop?
I pretty much know nothing. All I know, you have like mana lands. I don't know the name, and you need to draw them. And I think you need to defend when someone attack. You defend with the person who's getting attacked. Choose what to defend with, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's all I know. I never played a game of Magic in my entire life.
Okay, well it's perfect for this video then. I'm not gonna be trying to trick you or anything like that. You can ask me anything you want to ask me. Okay, any questions,
Okay.
whether how mana is used, what do you do with it, how attacking works, how blocking works, which is what you just explained.
Describe. Okay.
Yeah, what a spell is, what is the difference between a stack and the chain, because they're similar but different. So if there's anything that you need context for, anything, I'll be happy to answer for you.
Okay.
And if there's anything that you're like very clearly missing out on, and like it's going to drastically change whether the card is evaluated correctly or not, I might chime in here or there about something that you missed if it's drastic enough.
Okay. Perfect.
It's time for the first card. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. First up, we have this card.
Paradoxical Outcome. So this is free mana, right? That it costs, right? The free
4 total. 3 generic mana of any color and 1
Oh,
blue.
Okay. I got how it works. Instant. I don't know what the instant means.
So I'll answer that right now if you want.
No, okay. I want.
An instant is a quick effect.
I can use my opponent's turn. That's what you mean?
It's a quick effect that you can use at any point, and you can also use it on your opponent's turn from your hand.
Like a hand trap.
Yeah, it's like a hand trap. All instants in Magic are hand traps that you can use on your opponent's turn, but you can also use them on your turn, just like a quick play spell.
Okay, makes sense. Return any number of target non-land, non-token permanent you control to the owner's hand. So you bounce cards non-land or non-token permanents. What's permanent?
A permanent is anything that stays on the battlefield. That can be, it's kind of like a continuous spell or continuous trap card, a field spell, any monster, any extra deck monster, like anything that stays on the field, including lands. You can have any number of permanents on the board, and it's not limited to like 5, like it is in Yu-Gi-Oh.
So you're pretty much bouncing your own things, and you draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. And then is lore, right? The rest is lore. Okay. For Yu-Gi-Oh, that would be good, I think, right? Like you bounce your things and you have almost no repercussion because you can like pretty much activate again. But for a card game mana based, I would say it's not that good unless there's some ridiculous combo, because this sounds like a lot of Laws of Tempo, which I'm assuming in a game like Magic, it's important way more than Yu-Gi-Oh, because you need mana and you need curve and things like that. I play Hearthstone a little bit, so I'm trying to trace some things similar.
You can rate like curve and tempo like you can in Hearthstone. They're pretty synonymous.
Yeah. So see, like 4 mana to bounce your, like you're pretty much not gaining any presence. Like draw a card for each card returned to your hand this way. So you bounce your things and you gain a bunch of cards. Let's say you bounce 3 cards. You bounce 3, so you retain those cards in your hand and you draw another. I think this is not as good. I don't know. I don't know the game. I feel like it's not good. That's what I would go for.
Okay.
Like too slow. That's what I would say.
Too slow. Not good. Okay. This might change your mind a little bit, but I'm gonna tell you what the real answer to this card is good.
Okay.
Because there might not be something that you're too familiar with, which is like 0 mana spells.
It's something that you just play.
That you can play for free. Yeah.
Okay.
There are 0 mana spells, like, I won't expect you to know what this card is, but like Mishra's Bauble. It's a 0 mana artifact, like a 0 mana like continuous spell. that you can like sacrifice from the field to gain an additional effect. It says like look at the top card of either player's deck, and then on the next standby phase, basically, draw a card, and that's 0 mana. Or you can have cards that are like permanent that makes mana by itself. Like you can play, and those are called mana rocks. Like it's a rock. It's like an artifact that you can like tap to create mana. So you play an artifact, you tap it to create mana, and then you play another artifact, you tap that to create mana, and you like make a bunch of mana with these artifacts, and then you play Paradoxical Outcome, bounce them all back to your hands, and then you have the mana, and then you can play them all again,
mana, right?
And then you can like churn through your deck that way, and it's a lot of card advantage.
Oh, that's pretty cool. This is more a combo situation, right? Which I felt like it wasn't really like super possible, but it's not something that happens like in the beginning of the game, right? This happens like in the middle of the game, because you need to have it's like
middle of the game, unless you're playing in a format where there's like incredibly powerful cards like Black Lotus, which is only played in one format. In Yu-Gi-Oh, there's like basically only one format. Maybe there's like a couple, but if you include like Goat format and stuff like that, but or if you include like Master Duel as a different format, or you like Speed Duels as a different format, but for Magic, there's a bunch of different formats, and a bunch of different cards are legal for each format. So, Paradoxical Outcome in like really, really old formats where it's like more of a legacy game, like Yu-Gi-Oh is, where you have access to every single card that has ever existed, basically. Paradoxical Outcome is a really, really, really good card. When you get to more formats that are more recent, that don't have like really, really good like mana rocks, as I was telling you, like play an artifact, gain a bunch of mana, and then play an artifact, gain a bunch of mana. It's not as good, but Paradoxical Outcome is a good card because you can combo with it. And I think it was a really good idea to give you this card first, because Yu-Gi-Oh is a little bit of a combo game, more so than Magic is. So I figured this card would be a fun one to give to you because it's more of a combo card.
Yeah.
Okay. That's Paradoxical Outcome. Let's go ahead and go into a very different card, and this will teach you kind of about what creatures are and how they differ from like monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay. Mangara, the Diplomat. So it's 4 mana, right? 3 random mana and 1 specific one, right?
Yes.
Legendary creature. Okay, what that means?
A legendary creature is a creature that you can only control one of on your board at one time. If you try to play another copy of Mangara than Diplomat, it will enter the battlefield, but then you have to sacrifice one of them. It's called the Legend Rule.
So you can only have one legendary creature on the field at a time.
Only one with the same name. You can have multiple legendaries.
You can have multiples, but the Mangara, you can only control one.
One Mangara on the field at one time, yeah.
If you try to put another one, what happens?
The other one will enter the battlefield, but then you have to sacrifice one of them immediately.
Okay, you just swap one for the other, right?
You can choose which one you want to keep.
Okay. Lifelink, what that is?
Lifelink is like lifesteal in Hearthstone.
Okay. So you attack and you gain life based on the attack that you...
Yes.
Okay. Whenever opponents attack with creatures, so creatures and monsters are different, or doesn't?
Creatures and monsters are the same.
Okay, so it's a monster, right? Whenever opponent attack with a monster, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you, and or what's Planeswalker you control?
I forgot that word was on this card. The Planeswalker is like, it's a permanent, that has different abilities that you can use on the permanent. But your opponent, and it has like life points on it, like counters. They're called loyalty counters. And your opponent can attack your Planeswalker instead of attacking you if they want to. And if the Planeswalker gets to 0 loyalty counters on it, it dies.
The card dies.
The card dies.
When the opponent is attacking, they can choose attacking you or attacking the Planeswalker, and you can block with any monster, like any creature.
Yes.
You can block the Planeswalker, the attempt to attack the Planeswalker. You can do that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so let me. Whenever your opponent attack with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you, right, and or planeswalker you control, draw a card. Whenever your opponent casts their second spell each turn, draw a card. I don't know. Okay, let me.
Okay, there's
my gut. Okay, what else I need to know?
Yeah, there's one thing that you should know about how combat works in Magic, and it's different than Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
In Yu-Gi-Oh, you attack monsters into monsters, and you cannot attack a monster into the player unless a card says you can, like it can attack directly, or if they control no monsters in play, obviously, right? In Magic, you always attack the player. You can never attack monster.
You can never attack a monster.
There's also one more thing. There is a declare attackers phase, just like the attack declaration phase. But in Yu-Gi-Oh, you have a phase where you attack a monster, and then the next monster, and then the next monster, however many monsters you want to attack with, right? But in Magic, you have to declare every attacker and every attack target at the same time.
Okay. So, for example, if I have like 3 creatures, I said I want to attack with all those 3 creatures at the same time.
Yes, you have to do that.
And then the other player will decide how and if they want to defend with their creatures to block.
Yes.
The only thing that I need to say as the player is if I want to attempt to attack you or if I want to attack the Planeswalker.
Yes.
That's it? Okay, I think I got it.
You said it perfectly, yeah.
Okay, so let me read again with this information. Whenever opponent's monster attack with creatures. Whenever an opponent attack with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you, okay, if I had 2 or more attacking, right? That's pretty much it. If I had 2 or more attacking, you draw a card. I think, okay, my gut says this is not good. Like, I don't know. It sounds weird. I hope I'm not wrong again. This sounds weird because first, your opponent have 2 attacking at the same time, and then you have to control this is like 4 mana, and you like draw cards only. And the other fact, whenever opponent casts the second spell, I don't know how common spells are. This may be good against a specific deck that plays a lot of spells. I don't even know if spells here says the same thing as Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay.
Yes. There's one thing I need to note.
Okay.
Every card you can play besides lands is a spell. Every card, including monsters.
Oh.
So a creature is a spell, a planeswalker is a spell, an enchantment is a spell, an artifact is a spell. Everything's a spell except lands.
Okay. But even them, right? Like, there is a lot of 0 cards you use. It's like 2/4. 4 is life, right? 2 is attack, right? 2/4.
2 power, 4 toughness.
Yeah, it's like attack and life in Hearthstone,
yes.
Right? I don't know. My gut says not that good. Maybe 4 mana is too much. I don't know. I would say that. I don't know how relevant the lifelink is. Probably just like not that relevant. Because it seems like you just gaining cards. And again, I'm under the assumption that tempo is really important in Magic. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I would say it's not awful, but not that great. That's what I would say.
Okay,
go for it.
You're exactly right.
Okay,
exactly right. It's probably 1 mana more expensive than it should be for this effect.
Yeah,
and it was originally. Go ahead.
No, it sounds a little bit expensive. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was originally. People started to want to play it because they, it looks kind of good when you read it. You're like, oh, draw a card in multiple ways. Like when they attack you, you draw a card. When they cast more than 1 spell, you draw a card. But it's just like a little clunky because it's 4 mana, and the tempo really isn't there.
Yeah, and I'm assuming the stats for I don't know how relevant that is, but you need some stats as well in your monsters, right? Like in your creatures. So 2/4, turn 4. If you even have that many lands by then, maybe it's not enough. Maybe your opponent have like enough monsters. I don't know. It sounds not that great.
Yeah, it's pretty medium. So you got that one exactly right.
Okay.
Like
I was afraid to miss every single one, so I got one.
Yeah, you're not going to miss every one. You're too smart from that. You're too smart from that. You have three YCS wins. All right, moving on.
Play a different game.
Moving on to the next card, and this one is pretty different than the last two.
Okay. So mental misstep. What is that symbol where the mana should be?
If you read the first line, that can be paid with either blue mana or 2 life.
Oh, okay. Can be paid with either either one blue mana, or I can just pay life and play like for kind of free. How many life you have in Magic?
20.
20. So it's 10% what we have. Okay. Counter is instant, so it's like a hand trap. Counter target spell. Wait, what? Counter target spell with convert. I have no idea what that means. Counter target spell with converted mana cost 1. Okay, you need to explain me that.
Yeah.
I don't think I understood.
Converted mana cost is the same thing as saying mana value, which is basically exactly what it says on the top right-hand corner of the card. Whatever the mana value says is what the converted mana cost is. So Mangara the Diplomat, their converted mana cost is 4. For Paradoxical Outcome, the converted mana cost is 4.
Counter target spell with converted mana cost 1. So explain me if I'm right. I will use these Yu-Gi-Oh terms, okay?
Okay, that's fine.
This is a hand trap that negates a card that costs 1 in the end. If count everything.
What was that?
It negates a card that costs exactly 1.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Okay, let me think. So it's pretty much a hand trap that negates one type of card.
Yes. Well, it's any spell. Remember what I said about spells? Any spell.
It's anything.
Any card that's not a land.
Right? Okay, and land doesn't have like mana cost, right?
It's actually they do. A land's mana value is 0.
Oh, okay. But you wouldn't count for this anyway, right?
Right.
Because you need to be 1.
Right.
I don't know. It could be good in certain metagame, no? Like if there is a metagame, there is a lot of important one. Okay, counter is what? Like let's say they have a creature that costs 1, and they try to summon, and then you use this. Another question: do you spend the mana anyway? Because you spend the mana in Magic, right? Like you have a land, and I have a 1-cost card, and I get rid of the mana and a summon, and then I use this, and this card dies as well, so it's 2 for 1. Like,
okay,
is this a thing?
I know what you're trying to ask. You don't discard the mana after you use it. You tap it. You play your mana on your board 1 by 1, basically, and then in order to play a 1 mana card, you tap the 1 mana, which generates a mana in your mana pool, and then you use that mana to cast your spell.
So for the next turn, I will have that again, but for this turn, I lose it.
Correct.
If I countered it.
Correct. They will still lose the mana.
This could be good in any metagame where there's a lot of 1 cards, I would say, because you can pay life, so you don't lose anything, and you can use this as like a hand trap, right? Going second, you go like.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it could be good. I guess that's my answer. Not necessarily always good, but sometimes good.
Final answer.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, I would say.
This card is one of the best cards ever printed.
Okay, see, I wasn't off. Like because it's free and you kill something, right? And the opponents lose tempo. It makes sense.
Right. Have you ever heard of the Power 9 in Magic?
I heard the name.
It's 9 different spells that are like some of the best spells that are ever printed. I mean, arguably besides 1 Time Twister, but regardless. Some people say that Mental Misstep should be the Power 10.
Okay.
Because it's not in the Power 9, but like it's like powerful enough to like be that good.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I got it wrong. I got it right?
Yeah, you got it right.
Like,
yeah, you got it right.
Yeah.
You didn't say it was broken, but like it is broken.
It is broken. Like it's always. I mean, if it is always good if every single metagame you have a lot of 1-cost cards being played. Is that a thing?
Yes. Oh yeah, 100%. And paying 0 mana.
That was.
And paying 0 mana to do that is out of this world.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure that my answer was like that because I wasn't sure if every single metagame there were a lot of one cost cards. Because if there is a metagame that is not a lot of one cost cards, then it's not good, right? But if this is almost mandatory to have decks with contain one mana convert whatever card, then it's always good, right?
Right. And the more powerful the metagame, the more often people will have 1 mana value cards. So the more powerful the game gets, the even more powerful Mental Misstep gets. In less powerful formats like draft or cube, or you've cubed before probably being a Yu-Gi-Oh player, like either draft
I know what it means.
Or playing standard or something, or some a format that doesn't have a ton of cards in it. There's not a ton of 1 mana cards that are really, really good. But as the meta game and as the cards get more and more powerful, Mental Misstep gets that much better, which makes it one of the best cards ever.
Okay.
I'm glad you got that one. Because it can be tricky, because you're like, oh, it's so specific, right? It's so specific. It's only 1 mana value. Like, I don't know. But you got it right. I'm happy about that. Moving on to the next card, and this is from a color that you haven't seen before.
Over the top. So this is 7 mana, right?
Yep.
In the end. So 5 random to what? Red? This is red? Okay. What is sorcery?
Oh, sorcery is a normal spell.
Okay, so it's a slow card, right? You can only use on your turn by like activating it.
And spell speed 1.
What's the symbol on sorcery? Like the symbol, like in the same column?
That is the set symbol.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter. Okay. Each player reveals a number of cards from the top of a deck of their library I said deck, but library's deck, right?
Yes.
Of the library equal to the number of non-land permanent they control. So pretty much cards they control that are not lands.
Yes.
So they reveal both players. Put all permanent card they reveal that is on top this way on the battlefield and put the rest in the group. Oh. Okay. Each player reveals a number of cards from the top of the deck equal to the numbers of non-land permanent they control. So if I control 3 permanents and my opponents control 0, can I use this?
Yes.
And then they would do nothing, and I would reveal 3 and maybe try to not summon, but like put on field. And I don't need to pay the mana?
You do not need to pay the mana. They just go on the battlefield.
Okay. And put the rest in the graveyard. There is a lot of cards that have effects in the graveyard, like in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like if the card
not
that
as many as Yu-Gi-Oh, and not usually as powerful as the ones in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like there's not quite a Tearlament deck in Magic.
Okay. This sounds like a card that the idea of this card was to be playing some type of like, I don't know if this exists in Magic, but in Hearthstone you had sometimes decks that try to ramp and like gain a lot of mana really early and try to use powerful cards really early while opponents is not like the same amount of mana, shit like that. But 7 mana sounds like a lot. It is in other games. I don't know how difficult it is to find 7 mana and play this card and survive in the meantime. My gut says it's not good because also your opponents have cards on board as well when they are gonna like, and sometimes something ridiculous can happen on their end. Like they put cards that are pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would say not good. That's my answer. That's what I would. Maybe there's a broken combo. There is 0 mana, whatever, and then it's insane, and you gain infinite mana. I don't know. And then you do this turn 0, start the game, active this card. But like thinking like, if you use this card in a normal manner, it doesn't sound really good. That's what I would say.
Well, that's why I chose this card, because it sounds like it could be broken or really, really bad, and there's like no in between, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it broken?
You're like terrified if I said it's broken, right? Yeah. It's not good.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I felt. Like it's way too much. The opponent get cards as well. It sounds specific. Yeah.
Yeah, it's mainly not broken because it's both players, like you said, and it's just 7 mana is just way too much. Like 7 mana
Way too
is
much,
a
right?
lot. You could do a lot better things with 7 mana, than play over the top.
It's a random effect too, right? Like
It's
you
random
don't
too.
know
Yeah,
what you have.
you can't like really control what you get off of over the top unless you build your deck in a very very specific way with cards that are
Yeah.
also not very good. So it's kind of like you have to play not very good cards to make over the top good, but you're trying to make a bad card good by playing bad cards in your deck, and that just turns out to be a bad deck.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
congratulations on this one.
Okay.
Now for the last
I'm,
card.
I'm starting to understand the magic. See, I'm getting better as we go
Yeah,
because
you are
I'm
getting
starting to
better as we go.
understand the game.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I picked some of these cards so that you can understand like the different nuances of Magic and how some cards are supposed to work. And I'm trying to give you a diverse number of cards too. So moving on
Yeah.
to the last card, and this is also a different card type than you've done so far.
Okay. Gemstone Caverns, there is no mana. Oh, it's a land. So this is a land,
Yes.
right? Legendary land. Okay, what you can only control one legendary land of this card.
Yes.
It's
You can
like
control other legendary lands, but you can only control one Gemstone Caverns.
Okay. Okay, sure. Okay, if a Gemstone Cavern is in your opening hand, so if you hard drew it in the beginning, right?
Yes.
And you're not the starting plane, so you're going second.
Yep.
You may begin the game with James Card in the battlefield with a luck counter on it. So you drew the card in second, you show it to your opponent, and you put on the field.
Yes.
That's
Before any actions are done in your opponent's turn when they're going first, there's something called like pre-game actions. So like, do you have a pre-game action? Oh yes, I do. I have Gemstone Caverns, and then you put it on the battlefield.
Okay. What is a luck counter?
A luck counter is just a type of counter that this is just called a luck counter. It might as well just be a regular counter, like a die or something. You just have to notate that it's a luck counter.
There is something on it.
Yes.
If you do, exile a card from your hand. So you exile like vanish?
Yeah, vanish.
So it doesn't go to the grave, it goes somewhere else.
Yes.
So you lose the card in your hand.
Yes, it goes to the Shadow Realm.
Okay. So let me get this straight before I read the rest of the effect. So you draw your hand, you need to be randomly there, and then you show to your opponents, and then you put on the field, then you banish them from your hand, and you got a counter.
Yes.
Okay. Then you have the effect, I guess. Add, what's all those symbols?
That symbol is a symbol for colorless mana, like the generic mana in like Paradoxical Outcome. This can pay for the generic mana, but it cannot pay for the blue.
Wait, what? Which symbol? The little
the diamond.
The diamond. So what it means?
That is a symbol for colorless mana. It can pay for generic mana of any type.
Okay.
It pays for like the 3. Remember the Paradoxical Outcome, the 3 and the blue? You can pay for the 1 of the 3, but you can't pay for the blue.
I see. So you can pay for any non-specific mana printed on the card that you want to like active or something or whatever.
Yes. The arrow there on right before it says add is a tap symbol. So you tap this land to add the mana. So you have it like in face of attack position. You move it to defense position, basically.
All mana have that.
All lands have that, yeah.
All land have that. Okay. If a Gemstone Carver had a luck counter on it, which will be the case, instead of 1 mana, instead add 1 mana of any color. So if you have the counter on it, so if it was used like that, you can pay for the specific mana on the cards.
Yes.
But it's only 1 mana still. Only 1 land still.
Yes.
Okay. So then if you randomly draw this card in the middle of the game, it's just a regular land, normal land.
It's just a colorless land.
Colorless land because it won't have any counters on it.
Right.
So it's just like this sounds, I don't know, man, this sounds bad. This sounds like you need to gain this effect, you need to hard draw it, go in second, show to your opponent, banish a card in your hand. So this gain the ability to use like a blue mana or red mana, which I'm assuming your deck has plenty of, because like if you have cards that need that specific mana, this sounds bad. I don't know. It sounds weird. I would say bad.
This card is very good.
Really?
Yes.
I'm really confused.
Yes.
How?
Because it is something that you can. You're basically ramping for free. You're ramping from with just using a card in your hand.
Wait. How many how many lands can you active per turn? One?
Only one. It's like a normal summon. You can only use one per turn.
Oh,
you can't just like put a bunch of lands into play. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. That was an information that I didn't know.
Okay.
Because I was assuming, like, let's say you open 2 lands. You can't take these 2 lands and go like put two on board and get a 2 mana card and put on board. You can't do that.
No,
you need to put one.
It's like Hearthstone where you get like 1 mana symbol per turn. But Gemstone Caverns lets you get.
Now I got it. This is Wild Growth then.
It's Wild Growth, but for free.
Why is free?
For free.
Why is free?
Oh, because you just get it on the board for you get it on the board and you exile a card. You do have to exile a card from your hand. Which is
that's not problematic in Magic? Like
it is problematic. But the mana ramp is that good.
Okay. I got this wrong, but I didn't know that
you didn't
know. Yeah. Now that I understood that makes more sense. Because having mana, more lands early is more valuable.
Yes. And also, you can use cards on your opponent's turn 1 that you would never be able to use because you have no mana.
That's true. Because you can instant in their turn.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question. If it's opponent's turn and I have a land that is untapped, right? Untapped is unused, right? And I have an instant in my hand, which is like hand trap, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I use that. It costs 1. I use that. And then I need to tap that, right?
Yeah.
And then if we go back to my turn, it untapped.
It does untap.
Is that a word? So, and when I pass again, it goes to opponent's turn, it untapped again.
No. If you tap it on your turn, it does not untap on your opponent's turn.
So you can't use that mana again. So you can save some mana on like available. Oh, is that a thing in Magic?
Yes.
Like you need to save mana?
Yes, like say I have 4 lands in play. And I always
say mana, but it's land, right?
Say I have 4 lands in play. And I wanna and I have a 2 mana card that I want to play on my opponent's turn that says, counter target spell, right? Counter spell. Then I can if I use 2 mana on my turn, I can hold up my 2 mana and just pass the turn. And then when my opponent casts a spell, I can cast a counter spell, use my mana, and then on my upkeep, on my standby phase, all my lands will untap again.
Okay, then you have 4 again.
Yeah.
Okay, now it makes more sense. I see. You can strategically like wait on some. You can even is that a thing? You can bluff like not using some mana, just your opponent. Is that a thing, right?
Yeah, people do it all the time.
Oh, and then you leave 1 mana and they have like, I don't know what's the name of the card. This one you can pay life, whatever. But like,
there are cards that are like 1 mana. Like there's a card called Spell
and then
Snare.
Leave 1.
Yeah, there's a card called Spell Snare. It's 1 blue mana, counter target creature with power or toughness 2 or less. And it's 1 blue mana, so you could just hold up the blue mana, and then your opponent might not play their card because they think you have that card.
Yeah, I see. That's cool.
Yeah, so there's a lot of bluffing and mind games and everything going on with Magic too. That's why I love both games. I love Yu-Gi-Oh and Magic. They're both fun in a different way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
I like it. So yeah, I got this wrong, but it was lack of information.
Yeah, you got it wrong, but it was kind of a caveat. Like you didn't really know how lands were played. So I'll
See, I didn't know anything about Magic. I wasn't lying.
No. But you can relate some things to Hearthstone. Which the reason why I didn't tell you the whole 1 land per turn thing is because you did say that you played Hearthstone and you get one mana per turn there too. So
Yeah, it's fine. No worries.
I didn't want to make it seem like I was misleading you or something. I didn't want to do that.
No, it's okay.
Okay. What do you think about Magic now that you've seen these cards? These are only 5 cards and there's thousands and thousands of cards in Magic. But what do you think of what you know so far?
I think it's pretty cool, right? Like, I think I would definitely like the game if I played it. It's really hard for a really competitive player to play more than one game.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the level that I want is pretty much like impossible. To be really good in multiple games at the same time is really difficult.
Right.
So that's why I just focus on one, and I work with Yu-Gi-Oh as well. So it's hard for me to have time to do other things, but I definitely would like to play other games, including Magic. It's not something that I completely discard of my life.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe this is an opportunity for you to keep learning Magic cards and maybe be back on the show again sometime.
Yeah,
if you want to, and do some more cards.
Yeah, of course.
I notably didn't give you a green card, and I didn't give you a black card. So maybe there's only 5 colors: white, blue, black, red, green. And maybe I'll give you a green or a black card the next time if you want to come back on the show again.
Of course, just let me know.
Okay,
I'll come back.
And if you watching at home want Paulo back on the show, let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Also, if you want to be on the show yourself, make sure to check out my Patreon, where you can also be on the show yourself if you want to rate Magic cards or rate Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Thank you, Paulo, for being on the show. It's awesome.
Thank you.
A lot of you don't know this, but I've known Paulo for years and years and years. In person, we played at a random Denny's back in the day, back in Pendulum format.
Yeah.
If any Yu-Gi-Oh players remember that and made it this far in the video, let me know in the comments if you made it this far. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for hanging out. And until next time, I'll see you.
Bye.